Or you can do the quick claim deed to the, is that, are you gonna do the quick claim deed to the redevelopment so you can report it tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll need to be recorded.
It's on.
Yeah.
You. Correct. I don't know if we need, I don't think we need a sales disclosure, but I'll have to type a letter saying no non-taxable entity. So they sell it.
Or you can do it.
I'm making it up.
Tell me what you want, and I'll do it.
Okay. Then they just keep that on file because they have to turn the sales disclosures into the state.
Okay.
And if they don't, they need another stating why they don't.
You guys ready? Welcome everybody to the Dearborn County Board of Commissioners meeting, March 19, 2024. Please rise, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens.
As a recipient of federal funds and in support of Dearborn County's efforts to ensure non-discrimination and equal access to all citizens, the county gathers statistical data regarding participants in county activities. Therefore, we have provided a voluntary Title VI public involvement survey at this meeting. You are not required to complete this survey, however, the form is anonymous and will be used solely for the purpose of monitoring our compliance with Title VI and ADA.
Thank you, Andy. Old business, the authorization to make improvements at the S home. Who's handling that?
Yeah, I've got that here. This is the written authorization that's required by the lease agreement. The bid for the first floor renovation was by Maxwell Construction, $485,942, which was the bid accepted by the Yes Home Board. And then also by Maxwell Construction, stabilize the bell tower, $27,132.
Right.
The renovation is being paid for with grant money. The bell tower is being paid for out of pocket, so Yes Home's responsible for the first $25,000, and then the county's responsible for 75% above that. So the amount above the $25,000, $533 will be the Yes Home share, and then $1,599 will be the county's share.
Yep.
So this is the authorization for that, so that they can get this work commenced.
As per the updated lease agreement.
Correct.
Was to pursue the Yes Homes pursuant of renovations at the amount of $485,942, and also the stabilization of the tower of $27,132, which the county would be responsible for $1,599.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. You have something for us to sign? Okay. Okay. Andy, next one, you too.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinance amending the ordinance of 2024-001.
Oh, did you want to do the quick claim?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll do the quick claim.
So if you recall last meeting, the commissioners adopted a resolution to authorize the transfer of this property to redevelopment. Subsequently, the redevelopment adopted their resolution to accept the transfer. This is a lot right on the corner of 48 and Wilson Creek, and then Campus Drive goes behind it, I think about 3¼ acres. And so this would be then transferred to redevelopment. They've got more tools in their toolbox as far as developing land, and so that they have more avenues as far as the procurement process goes or bidding process goes to get this, put back on the tax roll. I know somebody had previously reached out about it, and that information's been passed on to redevelopment. So this quick claim deed, though, would transfer that property to them, and then they can get those processes started.
Questions? Questions? Yeah. All right, Alan, motion to approve the quick claim for the Dearborn County, transfer of the property to the Dearborn County Redevelopment Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Rule 5. Ordinance, right?
Mm-hmm.
005. Now we can move on to the ordinance amending the ordinance of 2024-001, the Hurdy Lane.
Yeah, so this was the Verity, ordinance 2024-001 was the ordinance that vacated the Verity Lane right-of-way. If you recall, it was just an easement that was vacated, it wasn't anything to do with real property. The speaker in the surveyor's office found a scrivener's error as to the acreage. The acreage in the ordinance was listed as 1.718, and that actually should have been 1.708. And then, after the ordinance was adopted, I think you guys signed the plat to show the vacation. That plat should have been attached as Exhibit A, but there was a mix-up and a different Exhibit A was attached. So Dave told me about this last week. So this ordinance will correct that scrivener's error as far as the acreage to show that the acreage should have been 1.708, and then also the correct Exhibit A.
He's being nice, I put the wrong one on there.
So it's ordinance 2024-005, and ordinance to amend ordinance 2024-001.
Okay, Mr. Probst, motion.
One quick question. Do we need to re-sign the plat paperwork?
No, the plat was fine. It
Okay,
just,
that's all I needed.
yeah, the plat was fine. It was just the wrong exhibit was attached.
It was just wrong.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Probst, motion to approve ordinance 2024-005, the ordinance amending the ordinance of 2024-001.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Can't get anything past either.
I think that, and he wants to change all the wording all the time. Might as well let him make them up.
All right, we have, new business. One Dearborn and the, Okra Stellar Pathways presentation by, you want to step up to, are you guys hand out?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
some handouts up here.
We are, I think we may already have.
Yeah, we guys already have them?
I know.
Okay. Well, I've got something else for you.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with Stellar, but there's, one Dearborn's having a, local elected official open house, coming up on April 3rd, from 8 to 9 a.m., and that's just for elected officials, so they'd like to come in and get to know us better, and us to know them better.
I know you guys too well now.
You guys know us pretty well, but some areas don't, so we wanted to open that up and give that opportunity out to especially the newly elected officials in areas. Oh, you got one? Everyone else has one of these, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Gage Pace, I'm with One Dearborn. Mike is on his way up from Louisville, so I don't think he was able to make it, but I'm simply just here today to give a little bit of information about the Stellar Pathways grant opportunity that was recently released through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, OCRA. Is everyone familiar with Stellar? Have you heard of Stellar before? Okay, so Stellar was released back in like 2011. They stopped it during COVID, and then they have recently re-released it with some new parameters around it. So Mike and I and a few other representatives, one representative from the city of Greendale, one from the city of Aurora, and then one from the town of Dillsboro, we went up to the Okra workshop that they had up there in Danville, Indiana. It was a 2-day workshop, so we stayed the night and basically learned all about this. And so now One Dearborn is going around to the different municipalities and government entities and presenting this information because, there's a little bit of a change this year with Stellar. Back in the past, it used to be just one community, would pretty much put their foot forward and apply, and then be designated Stellar, and now it's more of a regional approach. So this will be an opportunity for the county, if they so desire, to be a partner in a potential region for Dearborn County. So, like I said, this is a grant opportunity. It's about $8.5 million set aside by 7 different agencies, statewide agencies. Which creates Indiana, so 7 different statewide agencies, sorry, I'm reading this. The regions that are being formed will have to be made up of a county lead agency and then 1 municipality. So, like I said earlier, now it's a regional approach, so Okra is requiring at least a region to apply, which is made up of a county-led organization and at least 1 municipality. Okra is really big on collaboration, so they're wanting to see more countywide collaboration for things like this. 4 Indiana regions will be selected as finalists to receive a $50,000 strategic planning grant, and then out of those 4, those strategic planning grants, the regions will go forward and present those to Okra, and then Okra will decide on 2 different designees that will actually get the money. So this grant, I don't want to get too into the weeds because there is a decent bit of details to it. If you see in this packet, there is a timeline where any of the interested government entities in this are invited to a meeting we're having on March 26th, I believe, at 8:30, where we're going to get more into kind of the fine details of Stellar and what's necessary. So today I'm just going to go over the high level stuff. So like I said, regions apply. 4 are chosen as finalists. Right now, there is no funds commitment of any kind for this first part of getting this $50,000. The funds only come in once you're designated a designee, and if you'd like to go for set-aside funding. So right now, really, if you are interested in doing this, there is no funding commitment necessary. It's just more of a time commitment. If the county was wanting to be a part of the region, One Dearborn asked that they send at least 1 representative to be a part of kind of the planning if we're at least designated a finalist, because that strategic planning pretty much goes towards getting the full $8.5 million. So it's important that we have someone from each community to be a part of that. Let's see here. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I really just tried to hit on high level stuff. Do you guys have any questions about Stellar?
It's kind of a no-brainer. There's no commitment. So I think we've kind of talked about this previously, that there's no commitment on the county's part, and there's money available to be had. So if we can put together the right plan, and I'm sure we will, to be submitted, if we win, it's a big win for the county.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer to participate, especially if there's nothing up front.
Yeah, and like I said, Okra, it says on their website, it doesn't matter how many communities are on the region, but we all know that they're really into regional collaboration.
Right.
The state itself, with Ready, they're on this bigger regional kind of vision.
Right.
So, in my opinion, the more the better based off one of the workshops. But, yeah. Anything else?
I don't have anything else, guys. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, yep, so if you're interested, we're having that meeting on March 26th to kind of go further into detail about it.
Is that over to your place?
Yes, it will be over there. We'll also have a Zoom option for people who can't.
Okay.
In person.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the TIP report from Baker Tilly.
If you need. It's only for informational only, it tells you.
So there's no presentation, they're not gonna show off, it's just for our information?
It is, and it's for IC code that you have to, look it over and say that you have reviewed it. And what it is, it's a listing of all your TIF properties,
Yeah, I saw it.
and all your personnel, expenditures, revenues.
Yeah, I looked at it.
I've got a question, Connie.
Okay.
We'll get it taken care of.
I thought TIF was time limited, but we've got 3 TIFs that have no expiration.
Because
What's the
they are an
difference?
expansion of the West Aurora, so they go along with that.
Okay, so
So
the rest,
whenever they were expanded, when they go from that date on.
okay, so their expiration would actually be
Well, kind of,
the
sort of.
originating TIF?
I'm not quite sure. You have to ask David Kelly.
Okay.
Okay, and
Because they're all expansions there.
Hmm,
They're all expansions, the ones with no expiration.
yeah,
Andy, this next item, the PAC recommendation has already been resolved, and I don't think we need to move forward with that. We need a motion, or just,
Do you need to approve the hire?
there's no action.
there's no action required.
So the hire's been approved?
We don't approve hires.
Okay, I was looking at your email about the role. Okay. I mean, you can announce who it is. You can say who it is if you want.
Sandy Whitehead.
Sandy Whitehead as the MS4 coordinator.
Correct.
That is a big job.
Yeah.
Ms. Hayden, do you have anything for us?
I do not.
Thank you. Ms. Ronald, claims? Mr. Probst, motion to approve claims that you reviewed.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Coming this one.
Must be stuck. Payroll?
Yeah.
Mr. Goodman, motion to approve payroll.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pay the troops. Minutes?
March 5th.
Mr. Probst, motion to approve the March 5th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Bodensel, you have anything for us? Thank you. Commissioner comments, Mr. Probst?
Couple of things. We've got the election in May, the primary election for the parties to pick who will be on the general election. Individuals can vote by mail. Absentee ballots will begin being sent out on March 23rd. They can vote in person here at the courthouse admin building, starting April 8th. They'll have a polling place here. or no. April 8th is the end of voter registration. So people can still register up until the 8th. The 9th begins early voting in the building, and there will also be some extra times the week before the election. And the election in the field will be May 7th. I encourage anyone that's a registered voter to vote. Help your party pick who they want. And that's all I'm doing.
Thank you. Mr. Goodman?
I have no comments.
Okay. Just a comment and a half. Thanks, Rick, for that information. All right, late arrival information? Okay, hearing none. Public comment?
On anything, or is that public comment on what you just said?
You want to come up and tell us who you are? Public comment, I just,
I'm here, because I live in Dillsboro.
What's your name, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Stephen Gimmer. I live at, Arlington Road, Dillsboro, Indiana. And, I'm just trying to get clarification. I was under the impression you were gonna work with Dillsboro EMS. And this week, they had people there to answer calls. But on Sunday night, Mr. Thatcher, you told them not to give them calls anymore. And you say you're gonna work with them, and I understand you're not gonna give them any money. They got 6 people in training, they have people ready to serve, and then next thing you know, someone pulled the rug out from under them.
contract, not on the rug, it's a 60-day window of termination. I have been working with Dillsboro, but I didn't work directly with Dillsboro EMS. I worked with the town leadership, and we met last week, and we're exploring options to fix the problem.
You work with the town leadership?
Yes, I did.
Can I ask who?
Town president, the city manager, and their attorney, and the fire department.
So
we're looking for options, we don't know where we're gonna go, but what we're trying to do is try to fix the problem, because it's been a problem, from what I understand, for quite a while. So we're trying to get something solid in place before we start talking to anybody else outside of that as to how we need to proceed. We want to do something that's not just gonna be short-term, it's gonna be long-term. That's what we're trying to do.
I agree wholeheartedly. But my problem with it is on that council meeting last Tuesday, we were led to believe that they would have time to get their act together.
No, that was never part of it.
That was part of the council meeting, yes, sir. I was there.
They said that, I didn't say that. I spoke with them, and
You're
I laid out everything to them. I met with them personally, sat down and talked to them.
And the council
This is what you
meeting.
need to do. They
I'm
rushed
talking the
right
council
through it. Let me talk. Okay. First of all, they rushed through the plan. And I asked them at that point, I pulled statistics that day to see how many runs they've made in 2024 to date. You know what it was? 13 runs out of 107 call-outs. There's a problem, and I'm trying to fix it.
And the problem, as you know, you were negotiating in December and January with someone who wasn't even authorized to negotiate it with.
Who's that?
Willoughby.
I never negotiated. I don't even know the guy.
Well, why is it in your letter?
What letter?
I don't have it with me.
The Dillsboro Emergency Ambulance Unit was sent, those contracts that are sent out, the EMS contracts, the ones that were done in January, that wasn't part of any negotiation. We've used standard EMS contracts as long as I've been the county attorney. Now, the dollar amount has changed based on what council allocates, but that wasn't a part of any negotiation. It's, the county administrator works off of what the contract is, sends them out to the units sign them and send them back.
Well, I guess where I'm at is, I understand you weren't gonna give them any money if they got it straightened out. But why would you not give them the chance to show you they are improving?
I did.
How can they show they're improving?
I asked them for their plans, They gave me the.
Who did you ask to
I
plan?
asked them how long their plan had been in place. It had been in place for 6 weeks, and it was the same result. It was just the same thing.
Who did you ask? I'm asking who you asked. Who did you ask for a plan? What person
The
did you ask?
captain,
The captain.
that's right.
And he gave you a plan.
He gave me a plan, but the plan was failing. He had had that plan in place for 6 weeks, and I just told you they had 107 calls, and they only responded 13
Okay.
times.
And again, he had to put
If
back
he would have
together.
said, if he would have said, here's my plan, and in 6 weeks, I responded to 80 call-outs out of 107, I'd say, you have my attention. But that's not what happened. So the problem still existed. So at that point, the contract needed to be terminated, and a short-term, long-term solution has to be found. And the commissioners are working to make that happen. And in the meantime, Aurora and Morse Hill is covering Dillsboro until we can come up with a workable solution to make it a long-term deal for Dillsboro.
Okay.
That's where we are.
So can I speak now?
Yes, you may.
So you're saying that you know the trouble they had because of the disruption, because of the sheriff's department's throwing them out, the rightful people. They didn't get back in into January. You have a letter from their attorney telling you what happened, and all they ask you to do is let them show you. So they get it in place to show you, and you pull the rug out, and wait, and my other question is, why wouldn't you tell them so they didn't waste their money having somebody ready? Why wouldn't you tell them you pulled the rug out from under them?
We issued a letter of termination 60 days ago. We told them what was.
But they were still on the thing, and you terminated them, and then we were told at the council meeting,
You know,
we were told at the council meeting
we're
that
just
they would
beating this up.
be able
What I'm
to
trying
show
to tell
their,
you is that
let me talk, please.
Well, you
Let
know,
me talk,
me
please.
keep doing this.
Let me talk, please.
You're not listening.
No, you're not listening. I'm trying to say, you told, you didn't, at the council meeting, your group said that, your group, you didn't put a group together
No.
to check into that? Oh, where did the group come
I explained to
from?
you that the group was all volunteer, I explained to you that.
I understand. So the group that was there, that was supposedly, in my understanding, as it was relayed to the council, that they wanted to pass this lift, and here's what they were gonna do, and they kept putting on the board that when Dillsboro, they're only gonna do it month to month, and they're gonna look at Dillsboro from month to month. And that's exactly what they told us. They were gonna look at Dillsboro from month to month and see how they were doing. So how can they tell them that? They try to get their act together.
Not what
and
you said.
That was what said at that council meeting, sir.
No.
Yes, it
What you
was.
said was Dillsboro, we would look to fix Dillsboro, but that didn't necessarily mean fix Dillsboro EMS and get them back up. It meant we were gonna look for a solution, long-term and short-term, to fix Dillsboro,
No,
period.
that's not what was said. It was implied that Dillsboro would get their money.
Implied.
But it was implied by the group that was supposed to be doing this, and that's the reason that the council gave you the authority with the lift.
Implied.
Okay, so what I find out is the group was lying to us?
I don't know what, nobody's lying.
So
We're
there's
trying to
something
fix
wrong
the
here.
problem, and you wanna just argue about it.
I'm not arguing, I'm
Yes,
asking a
you
simple
are.
question.
Yes,
Why
you are.
would you not tell the people you were gonna pull the rug on them on Sunday night? And no one said that on Tuesday, no one said that on Friday, Saturday, no one even said it on Sunday. They didn't find out until they see Aurora show up and they call.
They knew the 17th was the termination date of their contract. They knew that. It's in the letter.
But we were told on that night that they could do it.
You're twisting it around, Steve. What was said was, it's set up on a monthly basis, so that when they do get their act together, then it would come from Aurora, it would come from Morse Hill, and could go to Dillsboro. It wasn't gonna be no immediate thing.
How could they get their act together if they don't even get the chance to make the run? You're not paying them. You're not paying them, and you don't give them the chance to make the run. How can they get their act together? How can they prove they can do it?
When they're only making, 11%.
Okay, but we're starting,
Well,
12% of the runs, how are you gonna, when you have your
and
heart
that's,
attack, who
and
do you
that's
want
all,
coming?
and also that was all.
Who do you want coming, somebody that's making a 12% of the runs, or somebody that's making 100%?
what I want is when you leave it to the
All you're
people.
trying to do is just argue with
No, I'm not trying to argue with you.
I'm
I'm
talking to you for over an hour today about this.
Yes, you
And now
did, but
you're
we didn't talk
twisting
to
it
this, and I'm
completely around.
asking you a simple question. Why, on Tuesday night, you're telling me on Tuesday night, I just want this answered. You're telling me on Tuesday night, you didn't implicate that out there, that we had the opportunity to show we could make the runs? No one made that?
I don't think that.
No, I think what you're saying
No,
is,
no, no.
yes.
I was there.
I was
So
there
did
too,
Jared.
I was there too, and I said, the agreements with Morse Hill and Aurora will contain language that the supplemental that they're getting for picking up Dillsboro's territory can be reallocated to Dillsboro upon, it would be the commissioner's decision, right? But what they're saying is, like you said, that they have 6 people in training right now. There's never been a plan presented to the commissioners that says, hey, with these 6 new people, like, there's been discussions, I'll give you that. But nobody sat down and written out a plan that says, here's how we're going to improve. These 6 new people, we estimate, will allow us to make X percentage of runs. That's what they're saying, is that, yes, there's been talk back and forth, a lot of talk back and forth. But I think the idea is that the Dillsboro Emergency Ambulance Unit will sit down and draw up a plan that they can present to the county and say, hey, here's how we're going to improve.
So you're saying that the plan
Did I
that
misstate
saw,
any of that?
you never got a written plan from them? That's all I wanna hear, yes or no?
It was not a plan per se, it was just,
It was more of an.
It was an outline.
more information, it was more of an outline rather than an actual.
Okay,
Okay?
you know, unfortunately, they're not professional writers, I agree with that. But they did give you an outline, and it does specifically tell you what they were gonna do. They have implemented it and
Steve, what I'm
started.
trying to tell you is, even based on that outline, they were failing.
How can you say they're failing? They just gave you the outline.
Because I just told you, they said, okay, this is what we've done in the last six weeks. In 6 weeks, in 2024, I've said it 100 times. 107 call-outs, I made 13. That's not an improvement. Let me just, 2021, they made 30% of the calls.
I don't care about
2022, 20%. All of 2023, 12%, and still carrying that into 24. That's a problem.
I
It
agree.
needs to be fixed,
I
and
agree.
that's what we're trying to do.
And when the man comes in, and the new captain, he's a new captain, comes in, and he gives you an outline, I agree, he's not a great writer of writing it out, but he gave you an outline, and he's implementing it, and he's doing the best he can do, and he doesn't have the money coming from the county to do it, and they took it on their own to do it. In fact, tonight, they're with their insurance company to make sure they got their insurance and everything, and you pull the rug out from under them?
Steve, again, we gave them a termination letter. They knew they were gonna be terminated on March 7th.
Look, so you're telling me they knew they were gonna be terminated after Tuesday, that's why they wanted to start proving to you this week, because the deal was, I told him, get a plan together, tell them how many weeks you need, whether it be 6 weeks or 6 months.
They were failing in their plan outline or anything else. They weren't living up to their mission.
So the people in Dillsboro, our money is just
You
wasted.
know, we've talked to them. You made your point, we've made ours, you have your opinion, we have ours. I can guarantee you that we are working on.
But you do agree they gave you an outline?
I told you, they gave us an outline, but it wasn't a plan.
We're not all engineers. And sometimes they didn't hire somebody to write it out as like a lawyer, but it is a plan.
But then they couldn't even implement.
They have
that.
implemented, they implemented what they told you they're
Did you call
implementing.
implementation 13 runs out of 107? Come on, even you know that.
Okay. We thank you.
Thank you. All right. If there be nothing else, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.